Good afternoon, Mr. Smith. My name is Kathleen. I'm going to be a nurse today. I'm here to do your central line dressing change. We want to make sure that we keep that area free of any bacteria that might cause an infection, which could create another problem in terms of trying to get you well. It shouldn't be too uncomfortable, maybe a little bit as I try to remove the old dressing, but I'll try to be as gentle as I can. Is it okay if we do that now? He's thumbs up, shakes his head yes, or he may not be able to engage me at all. I'd like to check your name and your date of birth before we start. John Smith, 1/12/1944. He either gives me a thumbs up or he can't engage. I want to be so cautious in maintaining sterile technique that I want to put a mask on you like I have on, and I'm going to turn your head to the side away from where I'm going to be working. I'd like to do that now. Is that okay with you? Okay, so we say that we're masking the patient. We're going to turn his head to the other side, and because I'm working in this area, I want to give myself maximum flexibility, right? I'm going to remove the pillow, and I'm just going to leave it in the bed with him. So I've washed my hands. I want to first get my sterile field ready, and then I'm going to use clean gloves to take the old dressing off. So now this may sound counterintuitive. I thought I took a bio patch. But when you open a kit and it's like this, you can touch the inside of what's in there. Because as you open this up, the back side of this is going to be what hits the table. So that's going to be contaminated, right? So I'm going to get my bio patch before I open this, because I'm going to need to put that bio patch onto the sterile field, right? So I should have brought that into the room. So a little bit of a trick with these blue towels, drapes. If you just put a little bit of torque on them, it'll stop them from folding back up like they always do. That's so irritating when you're trying to open this up. That's kind of like a little bit of an OR trick, because everything we open in the OR usually has these towels to it, right? So all I'm doing is putting a little tension on that, but it prevents it from flapping back onto the, right? Onto this area that I don't want it to flap back into. So everything I need for this is in here except for the bio patch, right? Again, we talked about everything having, this now only has a little arrow at the top, but this is showing me where I need to get that opened so that I can open this and flip it onto the sterile fields, right? So I'm gonna put my clean gloves on, and the first thing that I'm gonna do is get the chevron, which is the tape that braces the back of this catheter off, because if I don't take this off first, as I start to pull this dressing towards me, it's gonna almost become like a knot in your hair, because that tape is folded over. It's kind of like the pink breast cancer awareness ribbon, but upside down. So it's got a right arm and a left arm over each other, and I've put that underneath these ports because this flange, right, where those two holes are, this is sutured into the patient's skin with silk. So I want to be really careful. If you had something sewn onto your skin and I pulled it without bracing it, it would hurt like all heck, right? That's sutured in to prevent this from falling out, right? So I've got my clean gloves on. I've come into the room masked. You should always try to take a mask that's got the visor on it, just in the event that there's anything that would get into your eye. Glasses do protect you a little bit, but it's always good to have a mask with a visor on, right? I'm not gonna let this tape mess me up. I'm not gonna let it get me all turned around, right? I wanna take this is the last piece we're put on, so it's the first piece I'm gonna take off. When I take it off, I'm just putting it on my glove. I'm not doing all this nonsense and trying to get it into the garbage. I'm just putting it on my glove. It's not gonna bother me, it's gonna stay there. Now, I wanna get the first part of this chevron off, and you'll understand, right, that as I get this off, if I tried to pull this way and I didn't take that off, I would never get this all from being untangled here, right? So this is coming off. These are tough because there's dressings on here that are so old. Again, it's a piece of tape. I'm not messing with it. I'm sticking it on my glove. I want to start at an edge, right? And I'm going to put my finger on the center of this so that as I pull this dressing towards me, I'm counter pushing on this so that the patient's not feeling that tug on where that suture line is, right? Now I want to try to keep this in my hand. I don't want to let it fall back like that, because once I've picked this up off the skin, that underneath part that was sterile is dirty. So I want to keep, that's what you put your initials on, and the date and the time. I want to keep this wrapped up in my hand as I'm taking this off. And I want the bio patch to come off with the dressing, right? I'm going to put a new one on. As I continue to move down, I'm moving my hand without touching this site to an area that's safe, right? Because we access all of these ports. Now I've got the dressing off. I'm gonna take these gloves off. I'm gonna wash my hands again. And I'm gonna put my sterile gloves on. And that's a bullseye, right? That's how I'm gonna clean this area. Big thing. We have to ask the patient if they're allergic to chlorhexidine. If they're allergic to chlorhexidine, we use alcohol. So they may not know if they are, but if they are, you'll know after 12 hours or so, because the skin will get red, it'll get itchy, it could get a little blistery. So if that happens, you may need to change out the dressing